The Generals of the Yang Family, Chapter 10.
And let me tell you, this isn't just some old war story. It reads like a modern political thriller.
Mhm.
You've got spies, you've got bribery, psychological warfare, and they're not really dysfunctional workplace.
It's a masterclass, really, in what strategists call the counterplot, the alienation plot. The whole goal isn't to destroy the enemy army. It's to destroy the trust between the enemy general and his king.
So you don't kill the general on the battlefield,
No, you kill his reputation back home. You make his own boss do the dirty work for you.
which is brutal, but so effective. So let's set the scene. We're with the Song Dynasty, Emperor Taizong. What's the vibe in the camp? Because from my reading, things are not going great.
Not great at all. The source uses this phrase, men by you. It basically means he's depressed, he's frustrated, just completely unhappy.
Aye.
Because he's trying to conquer the northern Han kingdom and he's hit a brick wall, a huge one. And that brick wall has a name, General Yang Ye,
The Yang Ye, the legend.
the very same. He's the shield of the northern Han. And as long as he's in charge of that army, the Song forces they can't break through.
So Emperor Taizong knows she can't win a fair fight.
He can't. Not sword against sword. So the whole conversation in the war room, it shifts. It stops being, how do we overpower him? And it starts being, how do we get him fired?
And that's where the 8th Prince, the Bawang, he steps in, he sees the Emperor sulking and says, hey, I've got an idea. But they need a very specific kind of person for this, don't they?
They do. Not a warrior.
Not a warrior at all. They need an agent.
And they pick this man, Yang Guangmai. And what's interesting is what they give him for the mission. Emperor Taizong gives him 1,000 taels of gold, 1,000 bolts of brocade, and a whole pile of jewels.
That's a staggering amount of money. That's not just travel expenses.
No, it's a war chest.
Yeah.
And it tells you this isn't some normal diplomatic mission. Guangmai is walking into enemy territory, deep into the capital, not to talk peace, but to buy a betrayal.
It's incredibly dangerous.
Oh, if he's caught with all that by the wrong person, he's dead on the spot, no question.
Okay, so Guang Mei takes the gold. He sneaks into the city. Now, if I'm thinking tactically, my first thought is, okay, go bribe the general, go to Yang Ye, drop the gold, say, hey, how about you retire?
And that would be a very, very short chapter. Because Yang Ye is this Confucian ideal of loyalty. He's incorruptible.
Right.
If you walked into his tent with that offer, he would have your head off before you even finished the sentence.
So you can't go through him. You have to go around him.
Precisely. You find the weak link in the chain. And Guangmei, he targets a man named Zhao Sui.
Let's talk about Zhao Sui. What kind of guy is he?
The source calls him a bakseng, which in this context really just means a sycophant, a favorite. He's the guy who has the king's ear because he tells him what he wants to hear, not the hard truths.
He's a small man.
Exactly. A shaoren, that's a very specific term. It means he's motivated by his own gain, by greed and status, not by honor or the good of the country. Guangmai knows this is a guy who runs on fear and ambition.
So Guang Mei shows up at his house, dumps this mountain of treasure on his floor, and makes his pitch. And it's not just, here's money, help us. The psychology of it is just, it's twisted, but brilliant.
It's so Machiavellian. He sits Zhao Sui down and he lays it all out. He says, look, if Yang Yi fights the Song and he loses, the country's destroyed. The king falls. You lose everything.
Okay, simple enough. Fear of defeat.
But then he does this pivot. He says, but what if Yang Yi fights and he wins?
Oh, I love this part.
He says, if Yang Yi defeats the great Song army, he's the hero of the nation. He'll be arrogant, powerful. And you, Zhao Sui, you'll be nothing. Just some guy who used to have the king's ear. Your influence is gone.
That is the aha moment. He convinces the advisor that his own general winning a war is actually a bad thing for his career.
He perfectly aligns Zhao Sui's personal ambition with the enemy's goal. He frames a peace treaty, which means getting rid of Yang Yi as the only way for Zhao Sui to keep his powerful position.
And Zhao Sui, being the Zhao Ren that he is, he just eats it up, takes the bribe, gets jealous, and agrees to remove Yang Ye, which kicks off phase 2, the rumor mill.
And this is where the coordination between the spy in the city and the army in the field becomes so critical. Rumors are just wind, right? You need something visual to back them up.
So Zhao Sui starts spreading stories.
He tells everyone in the capital that Yang Ye has already taken Song gold, and he's planning to betray the northern Han.
Which is just deeply ironic considering who actually has a room full of Song gold.
It's pure projection.
Yeah.
But the king, Lu Jun, He's not going to execute his best general just based on some gossip. He needs to see something.
And this is where the Song Emperor Taizong plays his part. Guang Mei gets a message to him. The trap is set. Now you have to help me sell it.
Right, and he tells the emperor to order a firm wall policy. Jianbi Wuzan, fortify the walls and do not fight.
Walk us through what that looks like on the ground, the visual of this.
Well, Yang Yi is a loyal general. He hears the enemy is at the gates. He wants to go fight them. So every single day, he marches his army out, lines them up in front of the Song camp, and challenges them to battle.
He's trying to bait them out.
Shouting insults, everything. And the Song soldiers,
Nothing.
they do nothing. They stay behind their walls. They play cards. They take naps. Who knows? They just completely ignore him.
Now imagine how this looks to the paranoid king back in the capital.
That's the whole point. The king is already hearing these rumors that Yang Yi has made a secret deal. Now he sees his general going to the enemy camp every day. They shout a bit, no one dies, and then Yang Yi just comes back.
Daily returning empty, as the text says.
It looks like a fix. It looks like collusion. The firm wall makes the lie look like the truth.
So the trap is set. King Lu Jun is getting more and more paranoid, and Zhao Sui decides now's the time to close the deal. He goes to the king and says, it's not just a rumor, everybody knows.
And he brings up the past, doesn't he? He weaponizes history. He reminds the king about the siege of Zezu.
What happened there?
It seems like in a past battle, Yang Yi had advised a truce or a tactical retreat to save his men. A smart move, probably, but Zhao Sui twists it. He says, see, he's done this before. His loyalty has always been shaky.
That's classic gaslighting, taking a reasonable action and reframing it as proof of treason.
Yeah.
So the king asks, what do I do? And Zhao Sui says,
Kill him.
wow.
He suggests a classic ambush. Summon Yang Yi to the palace for a council, hide soldiers, and the signal is the king drops his knife.
And it plays out just like that.
Yeah.
Yang Yi shows up, loyal as ever. He bows to his king. The knife drops. Clang. Soldiers rush out, grab him. He's in total shock, yelling, I'm innocent. What is this?
And the king lists the so-called 3 treasons.
Yeah.
1, you didn't fight. 2, you didn't send word. And 3, that old truce is Zizu.
It seems like it's all over for him, but then 2 other ministers step in. Song Kikwu and Ding Yibao. Are these guys the heroes?
I wouldn't go that far. They're the pragmatists. They're the voice of reason. They basically say, Your Majesty, hold on a second. The enemy is at our gates. Yang Yi is the only person keeping them out. If you kill your watchdog, the wolves are going to eat you.
That's a pretty good argument. Don't kill the only guy who knows how to fight while you're being invaded.
Exactly. So they suggest a compromise. Let him fight. If he beats the song, great. If he fails, then you can execute him.
So Yang Yi is released, but think about his headspace. He was just ambushed by his own king. He's been told, go win this impossible war right now or you die.
He goes back to his camp in just total despair. He tells his sons, the 7 Yang brothers, what happened. And he knows he's trapped. If he doesn't fight, he's a traitor. If he tries to fight, the enemy won't come out, which makes him look like a traitor.
And right at that moment, when he's at rock bottom, guess who strolls into his camp?
Our man, Yang Guangmai. The audacity is just incredible. He tells the Song Emperor, give me half a month, I'll get them to surrender. And he walks right into the lion's den.
Literally. Yang Yi knows this is the guy who started all his problems. He has 20 executioners hiding in the tent.
And he tells them, when I give the word, chop him to pieces.
But Guangmai just walks in cool as anything.
He walks in Ang Ran, the text says, proudly, no fear. Yang Yi gives the signal, the guards grab him, and Guangmai doesn't even flinch. He just asks to say one sentence before he dies.
And it's the line, the philosophical core of this whole thing. What does he say?
He says, good birds choose the tree they roost in. Wise ministers choose the master they serve.
Good birds choose the tree. Let's just sit with that for a second.
It's a direct challenge to everything Yang Yi believes. In that Confucian world, loyalty is everything. You serve your king, period. But Guangmei is arguing that blind loyalty to a bad leader, a leader who just tried to have you killed, that's not a virtue, it's foolishness.
He's saying loyalty is a two-way street.
Exactly. He's saying the Song Emperor respects you, the Han Emperor wants you dead. Why are you staying in a burning tree? Fly to a better one.
And it hits Yang Yi hard. He's silent for a long time. He can't kill the messenger because the message is, it's true. But he's still Yang Yi. He can't just defect.
No, his honor won't allow it. So he releases Guangmei. He says, get out and tell your army to come out and fight me.
So the spy failed.
Not quite.
Yeah.
Guangmei has one last card to play. And this, for me, is the most devious part of the entire plan. As he's leaving, he accidentally drops the sealed envelope.
The classic oops maneuver.
He just sort of brushes his sleeve, the packet falls, and he walks away.
And one of the sons, Yonde, picks it up. He opens it thinking it's a secret letter or something. But it's not a letter. It's a picture.
It's a map. Or really, it's more like an architectural blueprint. It shows this magnificent estate in the Song capital called the Winning Mansion.
And the details are so specific. It's not just a nice house.
No, it lists a dressing tower, a resting pavilion, gardens, everything. And right over the main gate, it's specifically named the place for receiving the Yang family. It's a picture of the life they could have.
It's brilliant marketing. Instead of promising something abstract like wealth, they drew them a picture of their future bedrooms.
Exactly. And look at how the sons react. They're young guys, they're living in a freezing camp, their dad was almost just executed. The seventh son, Qilang, he looks at it and says, just seeing this makes me happy, let alone living there.
They're hooked. But here's the final twist. Yanengde, the son who found it, he decides not to show it to his father.
This is so important. They know their dad is too rigid, too loyal. If they showed him the map, he'd probably get angry and destroy it. So the sons make a secret pact.
What do they decide?
They decide to wait. They say, let's see what happens. If the Han King mistreats us again, we have a plan B. We have a home waiting for us.
So the alienation plot worked on two levels. It drove a wedge between the king and his general, but it also drove a wedge of secrecy right between the general and his own sons.
It did. The Song didn't just break the chain of command. They planted the seeds of defection right inside the family. They used money on the politician, silence on the general, and a picture of a house to tempt the kids.
Yang Linggong, we'll call him Yang Ye, is in what I'd basically call a toxic work environment.
Right, absolutely. He's the top general for the Northern Han regime, fighting on the front lines. But everything behind him is just a complete disaster.
A disaster is maybe putting it mildly.
I mean, to set the scene, the Northern Han is this tiny kingdom, and it's squeezed between these huge empires. They're the underdog. Yang Ye is basically their entire defense. But the ruler, Lu Jun, is demanding these huge victories while at the same time cutting off all the resources to actually win.
The source says he sent people to supervise the battle total micromanagement, but he held back the grain and grass.
Which is just the cardinal sin of warfare. Before modern engines, grain and grass isn't just, lunch for your soldiers. It's fuel. No grass, the horses stop. No grain, the men stop.
So Liu Jun wants the results without any of the investment. So Yang Ye's got this starving army, and this is where you see the first real conflict. You'd think a general would just say, we can't fight. But no, Yang Ye's first instinct is to attack anyway.
It's that old school mentality, isn't it?
Yeah.
He operates on this strict code of personal honor, and he knows his ruler is suspicious of him, so he feels like he has to overcompensate. His plan is basically a suicide run, just to prove he's not a traitor.
But his own son stops him. And I thought this was so interesting because it's the reverse of the usual trope, the wise old general and the reckless young kid. Here, the son, Yang Lang, is the one saying, whoa, hold on.
Yeah, Yang Lang is the pragmatist. He's looking at the facts on the ground, not some abstract honor code. He points out the morale. He actually uses this very specific term, ziluan, or self-chaos.
Self-chaos.
He's telling his father, look, if we march these starving men into a fight, the enemy won't even have to do anything. We will literally implode. We'll defeat ourselves.
That's a powerful concept. The idea that your own internal weakness is the real enemy.
It is. So he says they should retreat to Yangzhou and just rethink everything. But Yang Ye, he's stuck on his reputation. He says, what face do I have to see the heroes of the world? He's worried about looking like a coward.
So it takes another son, Yonde, to really spell it out for him. He ups the stakes. He doesn't just say morale is low. He warns about radical change.
The term is jibian. And in this context, that's a very polite way of saying mutiny.
Ah.
Yonde is basically saying, Dad, forget your reputation. The soldiers are about to kill us before they even see the enemy.
And that's the wake-up call he needed. Reality finally wins. They pull back to Yingzhou that night. Of course, the story doesn't end there. This is where the enemy, the Song Dynasty, gets really, really smart.
Right. Emperor Taizong of Song hears about the retreat. But instead of just charging in to finish them off, he listens to his advisor, a man named Yang Guangmei. And Guangmei comes up with a counter scheme. It's pure psychological warfare.
They're playing the long game. They don't want to destroy the Yang family. They want to recruit them. They want the talent. So they decide to use the Northern Han ruler's own paranoia against him.
It's brilliant. They start spreading rumors in Yingzhou, where the Yangs are camped.
And what's the rumor?
The rumor is that Lu Jun, the northern Han ruler, is convinced the Yangs are about to defect. And because of that, he's secretly making a deal with the Liao regime, another power, to launch a surprise attack and wipe out the entire Yang family.
Wow. It's the perfect lie because it sounds true. Lu Jun already showed he doesn't trust them by cutting off their food. This just confirms Yang Ye's worst fears.
And it works immediately. The text describes Yang Ye as Huang Huang, which means he's just agitated, terrified, totally lost. He's trapped. He thinks his own boss is coming to kill him, but he can't fight the Song army. He has no moves left.
He's completely paralyzed, just sitting in his tent. And this, for me, is where the story takes a fascinating turn. We get what I'm calling the domestic council. Usually in these stories, the general makes the big decision alone. But here, Yang Yi is basically sidelined by his own anxiety, and his family, well, they take over.
This is such a crucial differentiator in this story. The family isn't just, background decoration. They are the board of directors.
Let's talk about Shi Taijun, the matriarch.
She is the MVP of this chapter, hands down. While Yang Ye is moping, she's the one who initiates the crucial conversation. She asks him, "Why are you so depressed?"
Mm-hmm.
And when he explains the rumor and his fear of the Northern Han ruler, she asks a very practical question. Have you talked to the kids about this?
It's a family business after all. She knows this decision impacts everyone, not just the general.
It is. And then the kids start brainstorming solutions.
And their solution isn't, let's fight harder for our ungrateful boss. It's, let's find a better job.
That's exactly it. The fifth son, Yande, he comes in with what is basically a PowerPoint presentation. He tells his parents, we have king assisting talent and chaos settling martial skills. He's listing their marketable skills. He's saying, why are we wasting all this on a failing enterprise like Northern Han?
He even has a visual aid. He unrolls a map of the Song Dynasty.
This moment is so important. He shows the map to his mother. He's pointing out all the territory, and then his sisters get involved, 8th sister and 9th sister. They're just teenagers, 15 and 13.
And I love this detail. They're not looking at the map for, military strategy.
No. They're looking at the economy. They see how prosperous and stable the Song lands are compared to where they live. They completely reframe the discussion. It's not about betrayal anymore. It's about migration. They are actively pushing their mom to move the family somewhere they can have a real future.
So you have the sons making a career argument and the daughters making a quality of life argument.
Shi Taijun, his wife.
But she's smart. She doesn't push Yang Yi while he's panicking. She waits.
She waits for the perfect moment. The text says the next day while they're drinking wine and he's half drunk.
Which sounds a little manipulative, but also very smart.
It's incredible emotional intelligence. She knows that when he's sober and stressed, his pride is up, his defenses are high. But when he's a little relaxed, he's more open. And her argument, when she finally makes it, is just devastating.
Yeah.
She doesn't talk about safety. She talks about his legacy.
It was right for the ego.
She tells him, the years are pressing, you're getting older. If you stay here, you're going to die in obscurity, and history will remember you as just a martial man.
Just a martial man. Oof. That's the knife twist. She's saying, you're just a weapon, a tool, unless you make a political move.
And she gives him the alternative. Golden and stone fame. A legacy that lasts forever. She makes surrender sound like a promotion. It's not giving up, it's leveling up. It's the only way he can secure his place in history.
And it works. He agrees.
Shi Taijun, his wife, closes the deal.
But, and this is so important, you can't just stumble across the battlefield with a white flag. If you do that, you look weak. You look like a refugee.
You have no leverage. So Yang Ye talks to his general, Wang Yi, who gives him maybe the best piece of career advice in the whole story. He says, to be valued by others, you must first value yourself.
In other words, make them come to you.
Precisely. Wang Yi lays out the whole procedure. First, you send a messenger. Then you wait. You wait for the Song Emperor himself to send a formal written invitation, an edict delivered by a high-ranking delegation.
It completely changes the power dynamic. It's not, please hire me. It's, I am considering your generous offer. It preserves all his dignity.
And the Song Emperor plays his part perfectly. He's ecstatic. He gets it. He doesn't just send some random messenger back. He assembles a team that is specifically designed to appeal to Yang Ye.
Who does he send?
A civil and military pair. A civil official named Yu Sijin, chosen for his clear and bright speech, and a famous general, Huyanzan, known for his heroic spirit.
That's a huge signal. We value your intelligence and we value your strength.
It's total validation.
Hmm.
So they show up with the edict, and the wording of this thing is just a masterpiece of HR recruitment. It doesn't say surrender. It says, you are a nation-stabilizing talent stuck in a remote place.
It's the big fish, small pond pitch. Come swim in our ocean.
It is. It promises him huge responsibilities, wealth for his family, and that historical fame he craves. But even with all that, Yang Ye has one last moment of guilt. He tells the envoys, look, I feel ashamed. I failed my last boss, and I haven't done a single thing for you yet.
Which is understandable. He feels like a failure. But the military guy, Huanzan, he has the perfect answer for this.
Oh, it's pure genius.
Yeah.
He reframes everything. He says it was heaven's will.
Heaven's will.
Yeah. He tells Yang Ye, the fact that your old boss sidelined you and starved your army, that wasn't a failure. That was fate stepping in to preserve you, so your talents could be used by the true emperor of the song.
That is an amazing spin. It's not, I quit my job. It's, the universe fired me from my last job so I could come work for you.
It completely removes the moral guilt. It's not betrayal, it's destiny. And with that, the deal is done. They drink, everyone's happy.
But there is one last little moment. The next day, Yang Ye tries to talk about it again with Shi Taijun. Maybe he has cold feet, I don't know.
And she just shuts it down immediately. She says, the decision is made. Why are we talking in circles? She tells her sons to start packing up the treasury, get the troops ready. The deal is closed.
She's the project manager. She sees it through to completion.
She is the CEO of this entire operation. Yang Yi might be the face of the brand, but she executes the strategy. They march out with their army, their dignity, and their wealth, and they join the song.